All right, Mark, that's you.
Oh, okay. Hey, this is Mark Gordon, founding member of the legendary R&B group LeVert, and now LeVert Experience.
That's right. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on. We want to pay tribute to the LeVert Experience. You, as a founding member of LeVert, were a foundational part of our. Let's see. Let me not be delicate, man. You guys helped me with the ladies, and you helped a whole generation of us get where we wanted to get at an age where we were trying to just have a good time.
Yeah.
Right,
So thank you for that. But
right.
also, you gave a bunch of us musicians uh, something to focus on, something to understand the quality of, and you brought in Levert a quality that very few vocal groups, and we know which ones they all are because you were right at the top of the food chain. Something to aspire to and a standard of quality that we not just measure our success by, but always aspire to. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
And in that experience, let's see, let's rewind because I also want to acknowledge that Dave Tolliver is with us. Dave Tolliver, of course, he was in Men at Large, and you guys sort of you guys Men at Large, if I'm correct, signed to Atlantic. Uh,
Through East West, through Travel Productions, Mark and Gerald's production company. Yep, yep, yep,
mhm.
yep, 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 yep.
So there was a lot of you guys were like the younger cousins.
Yeah, if you want to call it little brothers, younger cousins, leeching friends, that's what you
Yeah.
call them.
Well, let's first talk before we get to history. I want to talk specifically about the LeVert experience. Oh, look at Joe is in his car. Also joining us today, everybody, is Joe Little. You may remember Joe Little from Rude Boys, and we were just talking about how the LeVert lineage brought you guys forward. So let's rewind to Cleveland, Ohio. And Mark, if you don't mind, take us back to Cleveland and growing up there, and everybody knows Ohio is the land of the funk, so we know you got that influence. But um, talk about meeting Gerald and becoming his songwriting partner and all of that stuff.
Shoot, where I begin.
Mm.
It started for me in elementary school in East Cleveland, uh, and just wanting to get out of class and learn music, just to get out of class. So that was my first motivation, was to get out of class. But after that, I liked it, and so my mom eventually took me over to Gerald's house, and his friend was Gerald's mom, and that's how we linked up.
Okay.
Long story short, um, Gerald wasn't there that day, but eventually Sean ended up telling him about me, and we hit it off right off the bat, and our love of music was the whole motivation, really. I had no clue that Eddie LeVert of the OJs was Gerald and Sean's father. I didn't know. And
Okay.
I just knew that when we pulled up to the driveway, the house was huge, and I didn't know where I was going. But eventually, it became a that was the beginning of history right there.
The big
Yeah,
house.
and it looked like a fun place to hang out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, all the stuff that they had, all the amenities and the extra stuff, basketball, tennis courts, swimming pools, and whatnot. You know, nothing grabbed my attention more than the piano in the foyer. So
Wow.
that's where I stopped. I stopped right there, and me and Sean sang, and you know, I played some songs that I, took off the radio, and me and Sean sang and played, and that was it. That was pretty much the day for me.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the start of it.
Joe, Rude Boy's from Cleveland too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dave, how about you? You from Cleveland also?
Yeah, we from the land, baby. Cleveland.
Everybody, huh?
We did this for you. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
So now what in the beginnings of your musical education, Mark, you start horsing around, you got that piano in the foyer and start hanging around with Gerald and then start writing songs. How was that process? Did you develop a songwriting process together that was
Yeah,
immediately collaborative, or were you competitive, or how did that work?
well, initially, we tried our hand with other bands and people that we knew that had bands, and we joined their bands and tried to, you know, just to link up a band, and eventually we decided to, put together our own band. We did talent shows and whatnot, the Shaker, Cleveland Heights, other areas, and but the songwriting process was developing. I mean, we would initially, um, try to write songs, but we didn't always have it. You know what I mean? And Eddie, which Gerald, would let him know or show him the songs that we would put together, and Eddie would let us know right away. Oh, that's not it. You know what I mean? So, you know, we had to go back to the drawing board many times. So it was a process, and eventually we got something that stuck, that he liked, and that was the beginning. And we went over to the studio, and which was at Walt's house. Walt lived around the corner from Gerald and them, and he had the studio in the basement. And so the first day we went over there and showed them the song. After we showed them, they kicked us out the studio and did their thing. You know what I mean? And that was the beginning of our studio life.
Yeah. So what do you mean by that? They kicked you out and did their thing. I mean, they took your song and they said, "We're going to record it. You guys go outside." Do something
Yeah,
else."
basically that was pretty much it. They got the gist of the song,
Mhm.
and they put their
Put it
funk
down.
on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They recorded it. I guess I don't know why they kicked this out, but we after we showed them, they was okay. We got it. All right, beat it, and that was it.
And how did you feel about the end result?
Oh, it was banging. It was
Okay.
unbelievable because again, we were fresh at the recording phase. We didn't know how to
Kids.
put it all together. You know what I mean? We knew what we knew, but we hadn't done it on a professional level yet.
Yeah.
And so that was our first experience. And so the result was like, man, okay, this is how the outcome is great. You know what I mean? So that definitely intrigued us, and we was pumped after that.
Dave, did you know these guys as kids, or did that come later?
The crazy thing is, my mom, she worked for the government for like 19 years before she passed, and she on the part time she worked at this record store called Fillmore East. Lady named Beverly Taylor used to go there, and I was probably like about 12 or 13, and Gerald used to come in the record store, but I really didn't have a clue who he really was, and I knew him then. I don't think I met Mark until, I don't know. I think I might have met Mark. Maybe they were doing these little things, these festivals in the parks, and I would always see them because I worked for the radio station as a kid. My uncle slash dad was like one of the top programmers in the nation. So, but I knew Gerald, but it wasn't like we were cool like that. But he loved on my mom and loved on Beverly Taylor, and I would be in there and he would, be very nice. And then, what was that, like 82, 83, 86, we saw him and we auditioned, and here he is, man, here we are. But
Yeah,
no,
but they were.
I knew Joe though from teenage years a little bit before, but everybody else no.
Yeah, Joe is making his way, and he's gonna get settled down in a minute, and we're gonna grill him. But in the meantime, let's talk about him.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about him. Let's pretend he's not here. And first of all, Mark, can you talk about Joe and how you guys met, and what his group was?
Yeah, when I first met Joe, he came to the house, to the big house. That was Gerald's and them house we used to call the big house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Joe and Buddy. They came to the house and he sang. They both sang. And that's when, Joe's like, yeah, that's the Rude Boys. So I was thinking that the Rude Boys was just Buddy and Joe. I didn't even know that the other guys was involved until later on, and then they showed up. They all showed up. It was a basketball team of them. Yeah, but
initially it was just Joe and Buddy Banks.
Yeah,
and,
they came to the house, and after that, all of them showed up down at Treble.
Yeah. And was there a period of mentorship there, or did you immediately go, no, we got to snag them up, get them on the label?
Gerald pretty much, had took it on himself that this is the initial group that we're gonna work with, and so I just, I went along with that, and and the rest is history,
Okay. How about Dave? When did you wrangle Dave and get Large going?
It was sometime after that.
He said wrangle.
Wrangle.
Cows, like y'all cow tied us and brought us in.
You seem restless, man. You seem restless. See, we got to do something about Dave before he get off into this.
Dave would probably know better the timing, but it was after Rude Boys for sure, and and then we clicked. Me and Dave clicked
like crazy
after that. So
yeah. So you want me to tell it? So the crazy, like I said, I was working at the radio station. So there was a guy that was working at the station, and he was also a performer, and he had a show that night. So I'm 16, my partner's 13. I'm driving, and he had a little after party at his house. Well, I'm gonna make it as short as possible. Gerald came in, and everybody was like, sing, 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 because we used to always roll around with this Casio keyboard with the tape over the batteries, because Jason did not take care of his toys and stuff. So like, no. And so everybody was like,
we all have a Jason.
Right. And so when we finished, he was like, yo, I'm gonna hook y'all up. We ain't see him again till 1989. And ironically, in 1989, I was working with a group, me and my homeboy Cloyd. We were two big dancers for this group called Jon Leon the Sorcerer Crew. And we were walking out the studio from rehearsal, and he was like, yo, I got this idea for three big dudes that could dance, sing, do this, blah, 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 blah. Like within a few days, we was up there auditioning. Everybody was up there. Rude Boys, Mark, Sean, the office staff. And I think Steve Russell from Troop was there too, because I think they were working with them at the same time. And we auditioned. A crazy thing, we had brought two other guys with us. They didn't make it. And then we had another guy. He didn't make it because it would have just been like living on the outside of an inside joke your whole career. It just wouldn't have been possible, I don't think, for anybody to be with us. And then, from that time on, May of 1990, first single, Use Me, East West Atlantic, Treble Productions.
So one part that you kind of glossed over was the assembly of the group. You were saying you auditioned, you made it. The other guys didn't make it.
Right. So But Jason and I have been singing since we were little kids, man. You know, my mom and his mom grew up. They were best friends for 30 years before my mom passed away. So they like grew up, you know, like cat corner from each other in Cleveland, and so you know, we sang at talent shows, around food festivals, you know, anywhere we could sing. We pulled out the keyboard and we got busy, and you know, so it was just we were always together. So it was just hard for anybody to come in between that and to be able to, I guess, assimilate into the process that we had together. It wouldn't have worked. It just would have been like, and it was like, you know, when you think a group back, we weren't, it was the, I think it was the revival of groups were coming back, you know, Boys and Men was out already. I think Jodeci, a couple other groups, and it was coming back. And so, you know, I brought a couple other guys that I knew that they said could sing, and they were worse than me at the time. And I was like, they was like, they ain't even really talk to them that much. And then there was another guy named Doc Walker. He was in it for a good minute, and then, you know, all hell broke loose with him and G, and so that didn't happen. He kicked him out for us, and it was just us two, man. And that's what it is. The two fattest dudes to ever touch a mic together in R&B history.
Okay. Joe, talk about your experience coming up.
Yeah, man. You know, the Rude Boys, we met Gerald on a humble, man. I first was introduced to Gerald by Eric Nolan Grant of the OJs. At that time, he wasn't. He was Binky. He wasn't part of the OJs at that time, but he was a guy that I was hanging out with, learning the ropes about the music business in Cleveland as far as being around adults. Because I was young, I was, you know, still like in high school, and you know, time came. You know, he introduced me to a place called The Reason Why, which was a nightclub owned by one of the Cleveland Browns named Ron Bolton and his wife Pooja. And so, with that being said, you know, he introduced me to a lady named Evelyn Wright, who used to let me come up every Thursday night and sing. So one night, we had the Rude Boys going on, but we was just a local band gigging at bars and clubs and stuff. And so I got the other lead singer, Buddy Banks, to come with me to The Reason Why. I was just like, man, why don't you come up? I'll be sitting in with this lady. Ooh. He's like, all right, cool. So one night, you know, she let us come up one Thursday night. We singing our faces off. And I seen Gerald LeVert like in the cut on the steps. And I was like, hey, y'all, we got Gerald LeVert from LeVert, man. Why don't you come up and sing with us? And Gerald's looking at me like, what? Like, man.
I'm off work, man.
But yeah, man.
I can imagine the words he said.
Right, to himself in his head.
Right.
But he came up, man. We had an explosive performance. It was crazy. And afterwards, he was just like, man, I want to meet with y'all tomorrow. I'm interested in working with y'all. So the next day we met up there. We met Mark Gordon, Eddie LeVert, you know, Andy Gibson and Gerald. You know, Andy Gibson was the president of Treble. And we just met them up there, man. We sang for him. You know, he asked his dad, like, what you think? He was like, they all right. And then he was like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna work with him. And the rest is history, man. We got in the studio, worked on our first first album, debut album. And when it came out, it spawned, you know, a number one called Are You Lonely for Me, which was written by myself and Tony Nicholas and a guy named Mike Ferg. And then the next, you know, with the first big single was Written All Over Your Face, a big smash hit that like made us a household name, man, and the rest is history, man.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do this.
No.
So yeah, that ascension. I mean, you know, the nice thing, what I love about Ohio and why it's the land of the funk is that everybody knows, okay, you got all these singing groups, but everybody was a band. You know, and it not just can everybody sing, but everybody makes music, writes music, you know, and understands the delivery of a live performance. And I think that's one of the things that has always separated Ohio and made Ohio what it is.
Yeah, before, you know, before we became a trio, we were a band. But you know, the bands were the thing. And me and Sean used to exchange places as far as I would go on the keys, and then Sean would get on the drums, and then the drummer would come out and he would sing, and then I don't know where the other keyboard went, but he went off the stage, I guess. I don't know where he went, but yeah. So that's kind of how it started with LeVert Band, and the LeVert Band eventually turned into the trio once they were talking about signing us to a situation.
And that really was the result of what you wanted to present to the audience in terms of three singers. Is that correct?
I mean, I didn't really
Like, let's get
think
us a
about
band
it.
so we could come up front.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it. I think that was like Eddie thing, and Gerald probably was thinking it, but the next thing you know, that's what it was. And I think I want to say, Tony did. It was a similar situation where they was a band, and eventually it became the three of them as the group.
Yeah. They never put the instruments down though, because I think I feel like because of Eddie's influence, you had the OJ's, the OJ's kind of format, and it was natural for you to step forward, as opposed, man, put that guitar down so people can see you and move up.
It was a different kind of performance. I kind of wish we still did it, and we could still, do some different things in the future. So look forward to that.
Do you still play keys in a live show?
I haven't in a long time, so
okay.
Yeah, that's something I'm thinking about. But yeah, it would be cool.
Yeah, Dave, do you have a main instrument?
My voice.
Okay.
That
counts, man.
That was one of the biggest things. I felt like I don't have a lot of regrets except for, and I still have time. The one thing I want to do before I leave is learn how to play and be able to sit down and just play at least one song before I get out of here. But I know I made sure my kids, they play piano, sax, guitar. I had to make sure they had, that equipment with them. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I don't play. I can, oh, okay, yeah, that's it. But nah, coming down, nah.
I mean, we're not asking you to do all that.
I play the forks.
Okay.
You ain't get that, did you? You ain't get that, did you? I said I play the forks. He don't get it.
It's a couple different ways that you can get that, but we should acknowledge while Dave's got the floor that my man has lost. You have lost I'm trying to put this in the equivalent of the amount of weight that you've lost is like a middleweight boxer.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I'm that small, but I'm normal heavyweight instead of obese.
No, I'm saying the
I lost
the mass that you've lost equals a middleweight boxer.
Yeah, I lost Marvin Hagler, so it's all good.
Right.
160. I lost what was his name? Hopkins, Bernard Hopkins. He jumped off my back.
That's right.
Get out of here.
Well, you were always because you were one of the, like you said, the two fattest dudes to ever touch the mic.
Ever.
I don't know. The Fat Boys was, I think, bigger than y'all.
Well, yeah, they were, but we had it in R&B, I believe, unless Chubby Checker or Fats Domino was bigger. But no, he had it.
But man, I'm elated that you're like you're going strong and still with us. I'm all for body positivity and love them, hump somebody where they are, but I'm also for somebody to say I'm going to change my identity and shed some of this extra weight.
Yeah,
because I've lost a bunch too. Yeah. And man, the difference in your life and your capabilities and how long you could stay on stage and your performance endurance and all that, everything changes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It definitely does, man. And I'm grateful, man. I say that this whole situation happened. It was fortunate by unfortunate circumstances. The crazy thing is, I can't remember how many years ago. It was over 10, and I think it was after Sean passed. I was like, Mark, man, I lose 200 pounds, man. Let me be in the group, dog. And he's like, yeah,
You really said that?
I did, honest to God. And he was just like, Mark is like, yeah, that cool, but I'm like, I'm serious, man. He was like, yes, cool. In other words, get out of here. But it happened anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I can't explain how life goes, but unfortunately, a lot of our brothers are here, or they physically are unable to. They on the PUP list, but for whatever reason, we were the chosen ones to take this legacy where it needs to go in this present day and age, where people really need to hear this type of music. They need to hear it, man. This catalog of records that we doing, especially LeVert stuff, they haven't performed that in gobs of years. And this year's 20 years, Gerald's been gone. So, and he started his solo career in what was it, 90? Yeah, his first solo album was when we did our first record, because we toured with him on the solo thing. So they haven't done LeVert in, and I mean, he put the LeVert 2, I'm just talking for you, Mark. He put the LeVert 2 together and stuff like that. But I just don't know if it was as impactful and as ordained as this situation. Real talk. I do, man. For years, I was just like, man, but you can't force it. Whatever you believe in, when they decide it's time for you to get it, then you get it. So we get it.
Wow. Yeah. Profound words. Mark, what do you say about that? What was your reaction to Dave saying he's going to lose 200 pounds?
I just told you.
Well, at first I really didn't believe it, but I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I hear you. You know what I mean? But,
yeah. He said he ran into you at the gym earlier today.
Oh yeah. That's right. I did.
My man is still hitting the gym.
Yeah. No, I just didn't, Dave is kind of a jokester. So he says a lot of stuff that sometimes he's not meaning for real, like he gonna do something, but I'm like, okay, all right, Dave, go ahead, do your thing. But that was kind of the reaction. But I don't, I can't say that I didn't believe him, but I didn't know.
I lied until now.
He's still Dave being Dave.
Yeah, he's Dave being Dave. 2 bites.
Well, let's talk about the formation of the LeVert Experience. Well, man, okay. So first of all, Dave, you brought up LeVert too. I can only speak for somebody I'm 56 years old, right? So I was right in the crosshairs of the original LeVert, and then and a little bit in Gerald's solo career, but LeVert too. Like you said, when you're there and it happens, it happens for some people, but for me and a lot of people, like we had moved into other things and we weren't there for that anymore. But now I feel like this is the time where, man, a lot of people who are my age are either reaching a point in their career where they're settled, or man, I got a younger brother than me who's retired. And so now people are taking their leisure a little more seriously, and they're getting back to, especially those who are, still able to get down, are getting back to, man, let me have the fun I had when I was really having fun. And so you guys are kind of in a sweet spot to have the LeVert Experience call back to a lot of us who are ready to, like had a professional life and are ready to get back to having a good time again. Do you think that timing has worked in your favor?
Yeah, and I think it's just overall, just the industry. A lot of the legacy acts are experiencing the same thing. As far as you got 2 or 3 temptations out there. You got, what I mean. So it's like everybody trying to get in where they fit in, and it's more of is more of a kind of a necessity for some acts like us because um, you know, some of those upper status acts, they can just call up tours and just be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
We've always, and even with LeVert, even with the original group LeVert and on, we've always had to work and grind for what we wanted to get and do. So it was never a thing where somebody just dropped money in our lap and been like, okay, all right, here, go play with this. We got you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's never
Couldn't
been
just
that
pick up
kind
the
of
phone and book a tour.
nah, it's never been that kind of story for us. We've always been a blue collar type act and
Grind it out.
come up from a blue collar city. And so I guess basically is we're used to it. And right now, fast forward to now, it's more of the same. We still got to grind it out. We still got to, you know what I mean? It's nothing that's given. You know what I mean? There is
Yeah.
nothing that's just automatic. So don't let the lights and the flash fool you. But we still got to work. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Joe, speak to your experience as the LeVert Experience started to coalesce. How did you get the call?
I mean, our manager Al gave me a call and he told me about Will. We started off just performing as doing a tribute for Gerald on the Tom Joyner cruise. So just
Hmm.
going into it, it wasn't put out there that we would be a group that would continue on doing what we're doing today. It was just like, hey man, they want to pull a person from each group from Travel to do a tribute for Gerald on the boat, and Al came up with the name the LeVert Experience, and we was like, okay, that's cool. So we came together, we did the show on the boat, and it just picked up. We was just like, man, let's keep doing it, see what it do. And we started doing shows. That first year we were really hot and on the road, moving and grooving. And
Yeah.
so we just kept it going. Last year we kept it going up until present day. So we've done a plethora of shows, man, and really, we actually have been on two Tom Joyner cruises now. We got that under our belt. We have a Soul Train cruise up under our belt. We've interviewed on the Donnie Simpson show. We've traveled to like many places. Like we've had quite a bit of shows over the
Front
past two
porch.
years and a half or whatever. And so yeah, so we just doing our thing, man, and we continue going, continuing to wave the banner for Travel Productions. And it has been a pleasure to be on the stage and grace the stage with my brothers. And there's no other feeling, even though I still got my group, the Rude Boys, we still doing what we do. But to be part of LeVert Experience is definitely a great plateau for me because, Gerald was my mentor. And Mark is one of my mentors, and for me to be able to rock the stage with him night after night is great. I used to be the guy standing on the side watching him on stage, and watching him create their magic and make the crowd go crazy and whatever. But now here I am, it's a sweet privilege to be adjacent to him on stage.
Okay. How about you, Dave? What as the group came together, talk about your experience with it.
Oh man, it was like a whole new world for me. You know what I mean? Just being around. I had never been in the studio. I've been in the studio, but not like to this magnitude. Working with G, it was it was kind of brutal for me because I would be in the car, we'd be rehearsing, I would come in and I knock all the parts out, and then I would come in and be fumbling the ball at the goal line, and he was rough with that. Time is money, money is time, but as time went along, it got greater. It's greater now. For me, like I said, it's been it's so much stuff, man, and all the way up till like I would never want to trade anything that ever happened before. And then right now it is, man, it's therapeutic for me being with the LeVert Experience, man. I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm blessed, I'm excited, exuberant. Any other words you could think to go in there. It's the place to be. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, damn, time has flown so fast, and here we are. Damn, why we didn't do this 20 years ago? Why didn't we try it 20 years ago? Because we, you know what I'm saying, we going into the autumn of life. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like we got another 20, 25 that, if we take care of ourselves and keep our minds tight, it'll be great, man. But for, like I said, for me, I just keep it simple. It's therapeutic, man. Life has life me to death. Over the last 20 some, it has life me to death. And I this kind of like, it came out before we did our first show. Was it the first show? Yeah, before I did our first show, I lost my niece like 2 weeks before that in a car wreck. So it was like, I'm like, yeah. So it was like, if I wouldn't have went on this cruise, I probably would have had a nervous breakdown. Real talk, because she was like my child. But this right here is oh, what a feeling. I mean, it's dope. I'm excited, and I can't wait for us to do some more music and just be out on the road. Like, if we could be out on the road 50 weekends a year, man, it'll be like the greatest sex you ever had. You dig? That's how it'll be. Real talk.
Well, you couldn't do it 20 years ago because you had Pernell Whitaker hanging off of your neck.
Hey man, look,
Not Pernell Whitaker.
In all seriousness, yeah, Pernell Whitaker, man, he's a great dude. I met him before. But in all seriousness, man, I believe that all things happen when it's supposed to happen. And I believe that the LeVert Experience, the timing was great. I've never thought about why we didn't do this before. It's just like, this is where is that, man? And it's great. It's great. It's very timely. And
Very
it's
timely.
falling. Yes, it's falling in place.
Yeah.
Well, but it's more like to me, it's more of a necessity because of, everybody has lost members in their group, all of us. Mm-hmm. And I think that to put it all together and consolidate just to make one thing is really a move that I think was kind of a great move for all of us to be able to, like, hey man, we at the end of the day, we really want to keep putting the music out there, but at the same time, we still want to make some money at what we do. And at what we love to do. And I think that is like, because it's easier to say, it's not as easy for some to say, look, I'm gonna go ahead and do my thing, but things not moving. It's not moving like you want it to. Yeah. So what do? Okay, we got to reinvent our situation to where it makes sense to present it to the public. And I think the LeVert Experience is that exactly.
Okay. Now I want your perspective, because you said everybody in the group, now is the time, and everybody has an experience of loss in their group, and now you're bringing it together. So how did it feel for you to get these two guys to come in and to do this, to do the LeVert Experience as a tribute to Gerald, but also just as a kind of, as a tribute to yourselves for really being the ones who could hang in there?
Yeah. Well, I initially, I didn't know how it was going to go. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you the truth, like a few weeks before that, the same guy that introduced Joe to Gerald, mm-hmm. Is the same guy that basically called me up and said, hey man, you got to get back out here. They want to hear the music. They want to see you. They want to hear the catalog. They want to, and he's, Eric Nolan Grant. He called me up and said that before we went to before we did
Tom
anything.
Joyner. Yeah.
And so I was like, and I'm thinking about it. I was like, man, but I'm thinking, well, how I'm gonna do that, or what, what's my? Because at that point, I kind of pulled back from the game altogether. Like, like I was kind of almost done with the music business. Period.
Wow.
That's just where my mind was at this point. I didn't lost my guys. I didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Nobody
And
could blame you if that's how you felt about it, if that was your
yeah.
move.
So, but I was kind of I was in a push and pull because I still wanted to do it, and I still was doing music by myself, and just just the tracks would just sit around, and you know what I mean. I wasn't being active, and the industry had me kind of shook, So, but this gave me an opportunity to say, you know what, let's see how this goes on this Tom Joyner cruise, and see if it's something that we can pursue afterwards. That was my thinking initially, but
Yeah.
I didn't tell these guys until, you know what I mean. And I would say something else.
Until the boat was underway. You had left the port, you were headed towards open water, and you look at these two guys and go, I don't know about you two.
Nah, I was thinking about it, like, maybe this is something
just being
that
pragmatic,
it could work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how this go. And but I tell you what, when the Tom Joyner cruise had us do videos, and promotional videos about, hey, this is we gonna be there and blah blah blah. But in that initial video, and they had other people that was supposed to be a part of this tribute, and I didn't mention the other people on purpose, because they hadn't been through the trenches that these other guys had been through. They that they didn't have the experience that these guys had. So when I did do the video, I did tell them, like, hey, come and see the LeVert Experience. This is before the LeVert Experience was the LeVert Experience.
Yeah.
But that was my video that I had submitted to Tom Joyner, because I needed to give it, I wanted to phrase it in a way so that they knew what they were coming to see. But that was the thinking, and fortunately, fast forward, that things turned out the way it did, and here we are, and we're doing more things in the future. As far as, we got a documentary that's going to come about Treble Productions, and the things that, some of the stuff that we talked about. We got new music that we're going to be presenting, and so we got so it's given me a new lease on the energy of performing and doing music again, and now it's just finding that infrastructure to be able to our way of how we deliver and distribute our music, because the new way is not happening.
Yeah.
So,
man, it's not like it used to be.
Nah, it's not happening. It's not happening at all. So that's the thinking at this point of how we can, capitalize on our energy and talent to reap the benefits, as the industry have reaped the benefits of us.
Yeah.
Now we
sure.
got to reap the benefits of our own work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how to capitalize it on your own terms.
Yeah.
I mean, you are talking about the record business. It's a machine that chews people up and spits them out.
Yeah.
And you've been to the pinnacle of success, and you've enjoyed the fruits of labors that happened a long time ago, and those same labors don't turn back what they used to. They don't. The return on your investment in the music business, it's terrible nowadays.
Yeah.
The only thing that really is a saving grace is the live performance. And if you have an act that's strictly a studio act, which of course LeVert was not, you guys made real music. And so you could sustain in a environment where you have to depend on that live performance. But a lot of people
Yeah.
cannot,
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, and I don't know if you watched the show Unsung, but a
Mhm.
lot of those stories are the similar stories. A lot of the people have been affected in a similar way because of the results of how the music industry is. And
And
a
has
lot of
changed.
people
Yeah.
can't handle it. And it's definitely, you definitely got to put on your toughest skin to be able to take the music industry, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But if you
No, it
love
is
it,
not.
then by all means keep doing what you do, and hopefully it work out. But you gotta have your T's crossed and your I's dotted, and know what your paperwork is, and know
Yeah,
what you're getting into.
most
Man.
definitely. Yeah, man, definitely.
Dave got into literal fighting shape to get back on the stage.
Bites
Yeah.
without your boy Bites in attendance is a disaster.
Huh.
Yeah,
So
man.
what about you, Dave? Your experience, what did you guys do in the interim? There were a lot of years that we didn't hear from you.
Well, you may not see me on the radar, but I was still here. I did a lot of plays. I did a
Mhm.
couple movies here and there. But we were kind of just like off the radar doing Men at Large. My original partner, Jason, he
Mhm.
left and went on to work with like Kirk Franklin and Dietrich Haddon and what's the name? What's the name? What's the name's husband? Erica from Mary's husband, Baby Dub. And
Right.
he was signed to his label. And when he left, he didn't do music for like 12 years, 10, 12 years. So I'm just dangling. And so I did like an APB, and I saw this dude from Chicago on the Apollo. And he was good.
Mhm.
He was good. He was really good. He had that baritone and the falsetto. And long story short, he was in the group, and Jason and I were together from birth as kids, but professionally, like we signed our contracts in 90, and then he was gone like 96, 97. Then my partner, his name is Gemini Porter, he was a singer. We were together from right a little bit before that in 90, the end of 96, 97 till he passed away in 21 from COVID and pneumonia, man.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Joe, what have you been up to? Has Rude Boys been around the whole time?
Yeah, for sure. We actually got a show coming up April the 4th in Elkhart, Indiana that we're
Okay.
doing. But I've been doing the LeVert Experience, just writing books, being an author. I got a children's book that's been released called Joey Wants to Sing, and now I have the animated cartoon and song, the ABC
Yes.
song that's on YouTube now. But I have the coloring book also, this on Amazon and on the website. And just doing that, and now I'm working on a new book. This I just finished called "Being Your Own MVP: Finding Balance and Unlocking the Greatness Within," which is a self-development book. I also teach self-development, workforce development. I'm a life skills coach, so I do a lot of that, man. Do a lot in my community and just stay busy, being an entrepreneur with my own coffee brand, also called Urbane Joe Coffee, and just like man, just staying busy, keeping myself going. Still in the studio writing. I have a podcast show called A1 Conversations.
I
As
see
you see,
that.
I'm doing a little shameless plug, but I also have a studio where I interview people too. So just staying busy, man. And you know, I tell everybody, man, when I leave this earth, I want to be just emptied of every gift and talent that the Creator has given me. I want to be able to have met all my assignments and my purposes in life. And you know, that's just what I'm doing. And LeVert Experience is definitely one of the great things that I'm endeavoring in right now, and that I'm just, you know, basking in the essence of.
And the ambiance.
Yes.
Yeah. Mark, how is this energy for the LeVert Experience? How is it different from original LeVert? What do you like about it? What's going on there?
Yeah, well, it's different energy, but I like the fact that it's energy from in-house, you know, and that these are guys that, you know, Gerald sought after to bring to the table for the production company, and to be able to, you know, come full circle with them is a blessing to be able to do it, you know, in the circumstances that it is. I just, you know, the energy is definitely different because we all have suffered the same losses. You know what I mean? As far as you know, that energy that Gerald had and Sean had. So it's just now we want to, you know, basically emulate the success that we know we're able to bring, and so the energy is there, and that's what it is.
Okay. Well, I want to extend to each one of you that I'm in the Bay Area. So I will say that if you know, if you're doing anything, any of your endeavors require boots on the ground out here, I'm in. The answer is yes. Whatever you need out here, man, you know, consider me a foot soldier. So I want you to, you know, think about coming out here. I know you said you can't just pick up the phone and book a tour, but if you are booking a tour and it brings you out here to you know, the Fox or the Yoshi's or someplace like that,
Yeah,
you know,
you
we'll beat the
just missed
bushes,
us at
man.
Yoshi's. You just
What's
missed it.
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
We did Yoshi's, and we
Were
also
you
did
just
a
at
out.
Yoshi's?
We was at Yoshi's
Pretty good
like
time.
last year,
Right towards
and
the end
towards the end of the year, and then we before that we was out there for some big festival.
in Oakland.
Mhm.
What was it called, Dave?
It was the
I think it was Juneteenth.
yeah, it was the
Juneteenth of
celebration, but
last
it
year.
was
It was out downtown. Was that
yeah,
Oakland?
Yeah, it was
Downtown Oakland.
downtown. I think it
it
was
was
Oakland, yeah.
Frisco.
the built
Yeah, we was there.
Biltmore.
We was there within a 6-month period
Yeah,
twice.
was it like
Wow.
the Biltmore or something? Is like that's the name of it. It
But
was
we'll
down
be back. We'll be back
Okay.
soon. We'll be back
Yeah.
soon.
in hella
Well,
time.
then let's stay in touch, because when you come back, man, I'm gonna, you know, throw the
Cool.
Klieg lights up and turn the sirens on.
Cool. Let's
Okay,
get
that's
it.
what's up.
Yeah,
get
I
it.
can't wait to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, our guests today have been the LeVert Experience. Mark Gordon, Dave Tolliver, Joe Little III. See them at a venue near you. You will be glad you did. And just like in the old days, you will probably get lucky.
Yeah. Hey, go check out. We got a lot of performances online. We did the front porch last year sometime. Go check that out. They just released that like right before the end of the year. And it's so much footage online, man, everywhere. And make sure you follow us on the gram, the LeVert. Just search the LeVert Experience. Once you start typing it, it'll separate it for you because it's the.levert.experience. But just search LeVert Experience and we in there.
All right.
We in
Thank
there.
you, gentlemen. I'm
My
gonna hit this
man.
All right,
button.
man.
All right, appreciate it.
So